Week 15. Week 15.
Yeah, week 15. Hello and
Week
welcome
15.
to the week 15 edition of the League of Ordinary Jabronis podcast. It's the second week of the playoffs coming up, and we have the first week of the playoffs in the books.
Or the second week of the toilet bowl, if you're interested in
Yeah,
that kind of
that's
jive.
absolutely true. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
We're still in that too. No picks have been determined as of this point, but we will be seeing all of that at the end of week 15. We'll see our first kind of things coming in, right? With the eighth place, seventh and eighth position, right?
Yeah,
Will be
so
determined this
since
week.
it's become a
Here, let me
tradition on
get
this
down to
podcast at
the
this point, we have to talk about our format for the toilet bowl and
yes,
how we award like we
absolutely.
just have to have a conversation every week
Every week we
about
have to
this.
continue to
Okay.
ram it in and
Yep.
detail it. But so
So as we've talked about before, if you win week 1, the teams who win,
which
so
you can-
basically in the upper and lower bracket, are fighting for the first overall and the second overall pick.
right
Teams
here.
in week 16 who are to be determined this week. So that's you, sorry, I should stop saying you.
Yeah,
It's Josh and Matt and Joe and John.
right. One of them will be
Whoever
here,
wins
and some
is
will be
going to
here.
then be to then squabble over pick 3 and
3
4.
and 4.
And whoever loses is going to be squabbling over pick 5 and 6 in week 17.
Correct.
Jordan and Kelsey will play this week to determine who gets pick 1 and pick 2 overall, and then their season is over. They will not continue to play. Similarly, for teams who are playing this week, the winners of this week will play, or next week will play week 17, and then the season will be over for everybody after week 17. So basically, if you are playing this week, and you are Jordan and Kelsey, your week is over after this week.
Yep, this is it.
Similarly,
this is your fantasy season.
Yep. Similarly, in the playoff bracket, so if you could scroll up, Steve. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Casey and Ben are playing each other. Once they place 5th and 6th,
yeah,
then their season will be over. That's just how Sleeper works. ESPN works a little bit differently. I don't know if anyone has picked up on this yet. You probably have noticed, but don't really care. But I just wanted to immortalize it. Yeah, it doesn't work. You don't advance to week 17 if you lose week 15 on Sleeper. That's just how they do it. Yeah.
So yeah.
So
between Casey and Ben, also again, the winner of this gets the 7th pick. The loser gets the loser gets the 7th pick. The winner gets the 8th.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes, it's based on placing.
So exactly.
We can
this is
we can
the
adjust...
one place you can tank.
Well, I guess
really,
you make more money because of the changes that Danny suggested for the way the prizes are allocated.
Then you get your buy-in back.
There's money at stake, and also the difference between those two picks are negligible. So anyone tanking, shame on you.
Yeah, it's true. You don't
anyway.
You don't want to be 7 instead of 8. Like it's not
so
a big deal.
Let's look again at the toilet bowl, Steve. If you could scroll down.
Sure.
So if you listen to the podcast last week, Trevor had a suggestion so he basically had 2 suggestions in the offseason last season, and we implemented the first suggestion that he had,
right?
Which is the way that we seeded the toilet bowl essentially, and the way that we awarded picks. The other suggestion that he made, and something I would like everyone to think about in the offseason, is instead of awarding the first and second pick to the 8th place bracket, and then awarding the the 3rd and 4th pick to the 10th place, and then the 5th and 6th pick to the toilet bowl at the final for the loser, basically. Mm-hmm. He was saying that in the 8th place bracket, we could award the winner the 1st overall pick and the loser the 4th overall pick. And then in the 10th place bracket, award the winner the 2nd overall pick and the loser the 5th overall pick. And then in the toilet bowl, the winner gets the 3rd overall pick and the loser gets the 6th overall pick. So basically the pick distribution is different.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
So the
that was
pick
what
distribution then reflects the seeding,
correct. It
right?
also
So
it
you
would
could opt
spread
into
out.
the
It would
one that you
spread
would
out
seed
the
into.
award
Interesting.
throughout the 3 weeks so that instead of just having the first week winner and the first week winner and loser of the 8th place bracket just get the top 2 prize of first and second. So instead of going first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth each week, we do 1 4, 2 5, 3 6.
Yeah, I see where he's coming from. I
I,
think
j-
that's
I just want
interesting.
everyone to think about the implications of
It
that,
is
and I want the
complicated
people.
enough as it is.
Well, I want
But yes, no, I see what you're saying.
when you think about how the toilet bowl is seeded and the importance of winning that first week, and then how much your team is losing by losing each successive week, it may help for cases where we have teams that are just struggling to score points like crazy, like Matt's team this year, to actually get a better chance at getting a better pick. Because there's a very
Right.
real
A very
there's a
real
very real
chance
situation where Matt's team,
just
especially after his trade with you today,
gets
just loses
absolutely
this
blown out
week
here and
and
then
then
has to
loses
get
next week, and
4
then
or
he had the
5.
worst team of the season
Right.
by far, and he gets the worst pick out of the worst teams, even though he had the worst team. So Trevor's idea is to make it so that each week, bad teams who have bad rosters have a better shot at getting a better pick, as opposed to the way it works now, where it's basically the worst teams week 15 have the best opportunity at getting first overall, but then as they slip, it just gets worse and worse for them exponentially almost.
Mhm.
So just something to
Yeah.
think about.
No, that's a
I
really
want the
good point.
people I want people participating in the toilet bowl this season to give me feedback about it. And then obviously I want feedback from everybody, but obviously the people participating in it are going to be more affected by it this season. And I would like to nail down how we do this early as possible. I think that what we have now is an improvement over last season by far, just because of the competitive integrity. Um, but yeah, so something to think about. We will discuss it further in the off-season podcast we do about rule changes, and I obviously will have a discussion before we even put um, quill to paper and begin drafting up the actual survey. So
Right.
this is something I was thinking of, and it's something I think Trevor was bringing up before on the last couple podcasts, but I think he was unable to really articulate what he meant
Well, I
because
think
it's
there was
you need the visual, which we didn't have. So
there
yeah.
were I mean, I think I brought this up last season, but that this would happen, but meh, we'll see how it goes.
Well, yeah, we wanted to change it, and the philosophy
Yeah,
was to encourage people to try as hard as possible to get out,
right. But there's still just
without truly incentivizing just like mortgaging your future.
right. Right.
So yeah. Speaking of mortgaging your future, Steve,
Yeah.
you made the
Trade alert.
first postseason trade
Yeah,
of the
in this
league
of the
history.
league's
Well, you
history.
and
Yeah.
Matt did.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you gave up
Matt and I
a, f-
participated.
a first and a second this year and a second
Second next
next
year.
year.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think you both came out on top there, and you're also taking advantage of Matt absolutely tilting off the face of the earth after the
The
what are we gonna
drop
call it?
the
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 drop touchdown. Like
the the
four
dropsies.
four
Yeah.
players have done that this season, and Kyle Pitts is the only one who got away with
I
it. So
Oh
that's
boy.
funny.
Yeah, no. So I do think that I think that it'll probably wind up being a good trade for both of us. I think that there's going to be opportunities for a good player where my pick is at, my first is at, and the second's too. Um, so yeah, I hope it works out well for Matt, and I hope JT can go back to 2021 for him next year. Hopefully, a little bit removed and healed up from some injuries with probably a new regime in Indy because
Yeah, I think
it's
it's going to
always
be
a
a
new regime
massive.
in Indy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a massive boost for your team in terms of not just this season, but going forward. JT was actually a player I was trying to get from him last season
Yeah,
at the deadline. But he felt he was still in it, and this year clearly the wheels completely fell off. So
Yeah,
um,
there
the
have been
reason why I want to talk about this now is that it kind of rolls into the conversation about how we award the picks for the toilet bowl, because I
right,
truly do believe that the pick that you get in the toilet bowl is less important than just having picks. So I absolutely
sure,
think it's
sure.
okay to just trade away good players
It's
in
better to have
playoffs or
more
even
dart
in
throws
general,
at all.
just because yeah, exactly. Having more darts is better than having a
A
sharper dart. If
a
that
more
makes sense.
precise throw, like because who
Yeah.
knows how it's gonna work? I mean, like
Mhm.
literally, I mean, yeah, like the
Well, think about it this way: you had third overall this year, and you got Brock Bowers, who,
right,
for all intents and purposes, looks like the next
the
Travis
next
Kelsey,
Travis Kelsey
like
for a long time. Yeah,
the top flight
the tight end.
tight end player, right?
Right.
And the players picked before you are
Were
they're
Malik
okay,
Neighbors and Marvin Harrison, who are
they're okay, they're
struggling with
okay.
bad teams. Like
So
that's
it's like how valuable
yeah.
is the first overall pick?
I
So
mean, I
interesting
think
to
it's
think about.
important.
I
It's
think.
important to think about when you're drafting, not to just buy into the draft hype. Like people were saying, like at the time that we were drafting, that Bowers could have gone like eighth or ninth overall, and he very clearly should not have been going eighth or ninth overall in most fantasy drafts in hindsight. And I think it's about trusting your gut a little bit and like making sure that you put yourself in a position to succeed and also understanding what your team's needs are when you're drafting. But yeah, more dart throws is definitely better. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the
especially
only
quality
reason that a
dart throws.
successful rebuild is
I really do
possible here.
think I really do think that, like, round 1 and 2 are premium.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously first rounders are the best, but the drop off between a second rounder and a third rounder is the biggest in terms of, like, potential, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean you can't find value in
Oh,
those
you can
rounds.
find
I
absolute gems in the third and
Yeah,
fourth
like,
round.
yeah, I believe that, the third and the fourth round is where you find, like, your starting edge rusher in a couple years sort of player.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's a great
And by
call.
starting, I mean, like, the guy that you just, like, you
You
lock him in
you
and you
throw
just
him
don't
on the
even think
taxi
about it.
squad for 2 years, and then
And then
feel good
suddenly
about
he's just
starting
like
him when he gets
on
the
your
opportunity. Yeah,
yeah, he's just
exactly,
like locked in your roster every single week, because
exactly.
it takes time for these kinds of guys to
For to
develop.
develop. Yeah, same
Yeah.
with a tight end potentially. Like you could take a
Hmm.
flyer tight end at that point, and it could develop great for you or not. Like
Yeah. And I think you could think about that in one of two ways. Uh, that kind of IDP player that doesn't just immediately, produce year one, tight end, same deal. You
right,
can either buy them when they're, like, fully baked, or you can hold some bags and see how it goes. And I think
yeah,
either way is a viable strategy, because obviously if you hold, you're sacrificing bench space for value.
right,
Vice versa, if you're buying, so, like, if you go out and you try and buy a Sam Laporta right now, you're investing future potential for certainty now,
right,
which comes with its own drawbacks, because then you don't have picks for the future.
right,
So
right. No,
either
exactly.
strategy works.
No, I mean, I think it's just like different ways to, or like where are you willing to accept certain kinds of risk?
Right.
Like and knowing where you're at and where your various risk tolerances are at. Like maybe you value picks higher or lower depending on like what you think the future classes might hold, you know,
Hmm.
and what are
I
your
mean, we
specific
we
needs
we
are you
talked about it
filling
over the weekend privately too. It's like we value draft capital very
very
differently.
differently. Yeah, very
Hmm.
very differently.
So yeah, let's talk about matchups.
Yeah,
There were some good ones.
let's talk
There
about
were
some
some really good
matchups.
ones this
Shall we
week.
do
This
we want
week
to start with
was wild.
some toilet bowl action here? I gotta get out of
Uh,
here.
no, let's talk about playoffs first.
All
Let's
right,
talk
all right,
about
all right.
playoffs.
So here we'll start with you then.
We'll do mine. Yeah.
Yeah, you and
Oh my
Casey.
god, dude. So I just want to preface this with saying I'm fucked. So the
This is a problem,
oh,
right?
my team is a problem. All right. So the meme Luigi wins by doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I feel like Luigi right now.
Yeah,
It's like
okay.
I was a couple CD Lamb catches from
Right.
fighting for first overall, and by the looks of it, I would have not. I would have lost, and I'd be
Mm-hmm.
playing like Josh right now again.
Yeah, no,
So,
exactly.
um, yeah,
But by the
Casey
but by the
Casey
grace of
basically
angels,
went out and slipped on a banana peel, and I didn't need to do anything.
this thing is bad.
The worst. Dude,
Oh,
Casey, I am so sorry.
this is not
Your
great.
your team your team is better than mine. I will admit that. And your team just absolutely just stabbed you in the back in the worst possible week to drop an egg.
I mean,
I think
you
isn't this
got
like
the most
Case
Falcons help possible right here.
I did. That was also the most Falcons game of all
That's the
time.
most Falcons game of all time for sure.
Did you
Um,
notice that Kirk Cousins was like struggling to even do handoffs? Like he was too slow
dude,
on getting the ball back
I need
to
to
Bijan.
I need to get
It
on
was
my
wild.
soapbox about fucking Kirk Cousins because this Trevor's fucking dead wrong about Kirk Cousins and about being like good. Kirk
No,
Cousins,
no, no, no. He says he's consistent. I will advocate for Trevor here. He
okay, I
says he's
mean,
consistent, and he
he was
absolutely is
not
consistent.
he was not consistent on the
This year,
Commanders in the or
this
in
year
the
he's this
in the
year he's not
Washington
good.
days.
Throw out this year,
No, 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 no.
please.
In
You have
Washington,
to
he
throw out
wasn't
this year.
consistent either. Kirk Cousins has only been consistent when he's had a pretty good, damn good defense to get him the ball back in Minnesota, and has had prime Adam Thielen, rookie to prime fucking Stephon Diggs, prime Justin Jefferson, and now an emerging Jordan Addison. He's got the best play in football and has like 7 years in a row. Kirk Cousins is the PPR scam machine. Like that is his role
I
in
honestly I
fantasy,
have
and
no
that's where the
skin in this race,
consistency
but
comes
I
from.
really wish Trevor was here right now.
Because it's bullshit. Like I didn't get to defend myself last week when I was hearing this nonsense, so I put it in the tags for it. But
I
like,
did see that.
come the
I did
fuck
see that. Was
on,
funny.
Kirk Cousins has not been this good ever. He's had the most cheatery play in football for like
I do think
six
that
of his
Kirk
8
Cousins
seasons on the Vikings.
I do think that Kirk Cousins has very good traits, and there's a reason he's been in the league for over a decade at this
Yeah,
point.
right.
His accuracy and his ability to read defenses is elite.
He
Well,
does. He's a great
was
processor.
was.
Well, no. And the thing is I think that's still the case. I don't think that he's making the wrong decision. This
He's just
current
physically
problem,
limited. He's physically
precisely,
limited.
he
Yeah.
cannot. You can see it in this tape. He does not actually trust his plant leg, where he's trying
Yep.
to generate force.
That's the one he
And
tore.
so
He tore his
exactly,
right
it's
Achilles, I think.
exactly the
Right.
Achilles. It's exactly
Yeah.
the leg that he tore his Achilles on. It makes perfect sense. He's coming back from an Achilles. It was insane to think that he would be good, like coming out of the gate this year. He looks like a dude coming back from injury right now, and he looks like himself coming back from injury, which wasn't, ever that spectacular. Just regular mid, you
Pretty
know,
good. No,
like
I think he's pretty good.
I
Like
don't think he's been pretty good. He's the success that he's I think the poster child for stumbling into success and quarterback success for the rest of the team's merits, because he had Dalvin Cook in his prime running
well,
for him. He has Justin
counterpoint
Jefferson in his prime like doing, but he never had to do all that much.
counterpoint. Look at all the teams with for all intents and purposes an amazing offense. Really good talented players like the Jets, like the Falcons that don't have a functional quarterback. And obviously Kirk Cousins was the quarterback for the Falcons.
I think you
But
put Kirk
you
Cousins on the Jets, he has the exact same
Kirk Cousins
problems as Aaron
made
Rodgers does.
Justin Jefferson. He made Stephon Diggs. He
That's
made all
ridiculous.
those players that no, it's not ridiculous to say
No,
that
because
he's good.
Sam Darnold
He's
is doing
good.
it with Justin Jefferson right now. And
Well,
Stephon Diggs would
yeah,
be
he
doing it with
is.
CJ Stroud if he wasn't
They're
injured.
good. It's because they're a
Because
good
Stephon
team.
Diggs did it with Josh Allen too. I don't think it's necessarily because the Vikings are a good team. They may have a good offensive scheme. They may be set up well with the Shanahan offense, but they have the best play in football, which is throw it to Justin Jefferson. Like
I
the
I
dude's
I just
catch
simply
rage is
believe
absolutely insane. I do not think that the quarterback play is what I think the receiver is elevating the quarterback.
Okay,
And that is the
let's
place
do it
where
like
I'm
this.
at.
So Trevor's here with Kirk Cousins, and you're
Mhm.
here. I
Way
think
at
the
the
truth is
bottom.
like so. Okay, down
Probably
here.
somewhere
I
in the middle. Yeah,
I think it's
probably.
somewhere. The truth is somewhere in the middle, which is where I am.
But
I think I'm right.
I look,
He's I. He's
I
I.
can assure you, I have watched more games of Kirk Cousins over the past, decade and a half because he was on the Vikings for so fucking long. You
Yeah.
know?
The other thing about Kirk Cousins that you got to remember too is that just from a person standpoint, he's just like a good guy.
No, he's
There's like
like
no,
by
you
all
can't
intents and
hate, you
purposes
cannot hate
a
Kirk Cousins.
nice
It is
dude.
impossible to hate
Yeah,
Kirk Cousins.
I don't want to impeach his character. I want to impeach his
Sure,
football ability in this specific
fair.
context, and that is where I will draw that line.
Well,
But yeah,
this will be good when Trevor hears this or next time he hops on.
yeah, we're gonna have it out.
He's gonna have
We're
some
gonna
words.
have
I
some.
cannot wait for
Yeah, we're
that.
gonna
It's
have it
gonna
out
be
about
good.
Kirk Cousins because God
Yep.
damn it, I don't think he's so good.
Um, yeah. So obviously Kirk Cousins was not good in this game. Ironically, Kyle Pitts was the best fantasy player.
Well, Drake
Uh,
London.
by targets though.
Oh yeah, by
Most
targets.
opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4 of 4.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Drake London just happened to get the touchdown,
right.
So that which was
He also
honestly
got
a really good play by him.
Drake London got a lot more deep looks than Kyle
Yeah,
Pitts.
usually he kind of does the DK Metcalf
Right.
kind
Right.
of thing where
Yeah,
he's
Pitts
just like
was
in the
playing the check
second
down motion.
level, the
Right.
the
Yeah.
intermediate
Yeah. Just
stuff.
doing little goes and X wide
Yeah,
receiver stuff.
it's usually Darnell Mooney who gets those deep shots, and
Mhm.
he dropped a goose, which was very surprising.
Right.
I thought
So
Darnell
here,
Mooney was
this
gonna
is
I thought Casey's team was going to do something really funny and
and
Falcons
Mooney
the
you.
fuck out of me. And
Yeah.
Drake London and Kyle Pitts do nothing. And then Bijan Robinson and Darnell Mooney do everything
Well,
and kill me and knock me out of play. I was expecting that to happen.
I'm pretty sure it was your renaming that
Oh
your
no, I did that
announcers
after. I did
changed.
that after Kirk Cousins got benched because I don't need to. Oh no, I know what you.
The
Okay,
previous
I got you.
renamings.
I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. McMooney and
McMooney. Yeah,
yeah,
Darnell McMooney or Ray McMooney and
Ray McMooney, Darnell McLeod.
Darnell McLeod, yeah.
Yep.
Um but yeah, I mean honestly,
That did actually work, Steve. You're right. That
yeah,
is true
I think
because
that's what did it. That's
Kirk
because they got
Kirk
all
got
the he got
confused and
confused
was throwing it to McMooney,
and
Kyle
right.
Pitts,
And
and then didn't target Mooney.
yeah, right,
See how that
exactly.
worked?
So
I did it,
it
Casey. I
totally
figured out
worked.
why you lost.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what done it. So, but also Debo Samuel having like maybe one of the worst games of his career didn't help.
Oh, that no,
Uh,
not maybe. That was the worst game of his career.
and
It was so
this
embarrassing.
second goose egg is
Did you see the
really
thing on
gnarly.
Twitter? He deleted his tweet, but he put that Twitter post he made where he said, "Not struggling, just not getting the ball."
Oh yeah,
Did you see that?
I saw that there had been some grumbles, but I didn't see
So
what
he
the
did.
post
So he
was.
posted that. That's what he said, word
Right.
for word.
That's hilarious.
And I don't
Got the
know if you know
ball.
this,
Didn't
but
didn't do very
I
well
don't know
with
if you're
it.
a degen like me and still use Twitter, but
No.
so Twitter added a feature where the community can basically fact check tweets, and it's called readers added context. So basically, if enough people add context, then it gets
Right.
added
Sure.
to the tweet.
Sure.
And this one read it. So it said readers added context, and it said he is struggling.
Yeah.
he leads the team in drops. He is struggling.
He is struggling.
So
it ain't good.
Yeah, he had an absolute like wet fart.
I mean, he had the worst game of his
he had a
career.
walk-in touchdown that literally just boing,
Yep,
right off of
went
his
right
hands.
off his hands. Just fucked it up.
And it was bad.
Yeah. Poor Debo.
Yeah, other than
Otherwise,
that,
this is a
on
pretty
Casey's
even
side,
look. I
the
mean,
Mac Wilson concussion was really unfortunate. Casey, he didn't even really
yeah.
get an opportunity to do anything.
No, exactly. He gets a big
And I
fat
didn't have
0.
a corresponding donut, and he got
Right.
two. Like in two
Exactly.
donuts versus the other opponent getting no donuts is just an L. I don't
mean,
care what happens. It's
even
an L
then,
usually.
even if you throw in like the great
A Saquon
games
40
and
burger
I mean,
maybe
exactly
saves you from that, but
no, Like, well, I mean, even then, you put two relatively good games of like 15-point games for each of those guys, and that only adds 30 points and still doesn't make up enough.
Yeah,
So
and then Josh Allen, Josh Hines Allen.
Bateman
We
is a big part of
well,
this
we'll
for
talk
the
about him
Vikings
in a second, but Josh Hines Allen,
and
we've
Grenard.
talked about it
Yeah.
with Joe at length, the issues with the defensive scheme in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But he's
Yeah.
clearly affected by this. He's still
Yeah.
a
No, I mean
very good edge rusher.
it's getting Foye too. You
Yeah,
know, he's
yep,
also Foye's production is down this year for that exact same reason.
yeah.
Um,
But he's been
they need
really
to fix
disappointing.
shit in Jacksonville schematically very soon.
But yeah,
And Leonard Williams had an alright game. He did pretty well.
yeah. I was
He
kind of
was
worried he
about
was gonna go ape shit. We'll talk about Green Bay in a minute. But yeah, on my side, Rashad Bateman just
right.
getting 2 touchdowns and 80 yards
I
on
mean,
3 catches
Lamar
is
had that crazy fucking game.
yeah, he had 5 touchdowns,
Yeah, like
which is madness.
absolute insanity.
And we'll talk about that with your
Yeah,
matchup.
with my matchup.
But
Yeah, Bateman getting 2 of them was huge for your win here. Grenard with the sack, the strip sack, was pretty big too.
yeah. But
And Daniel
overall,
Hunter got nearly 2 sacks too.
oh yeah,
So
my defense has been carrying me.
yeah,
Like
Vaughn had surprisingly low for this for
yeah,
his season so
that was a
far,
really surprising
right? Because
that was a really surprising result because Pittsburgh has been a very like they funnel their
right to the
running
running
backs
backs. Yeah,
to the middle of the field, which is exactly where an inside linebacker like him
should be.
plays,
Yeah,
and he's been
exactly
feasting. He's been like you
on
watched it
that.
week 1,
Yeah.
like
Oh, it's
against the
been big.
Packers.
Yeah, he's been doing that
Yeah,
against lots of teams. Like,
he's just a tackle machine, and he did nothing. Well,
yeah.
not nothing, but
I
very
mean, he had
very
5 tackles,
muted.
but is less than huge.
Yeah,
All right, this
but yeah, I'm not. I thank you, Matt, for trading him to me. I was very happy
yeah,
with that
yeah.
transaction, even though it could have cost me $1 more than I paid on the waiver wire. We both bid like $2 or something,
Yeah.
and he
Well,
won it. I got Steve sniped, and then I had to pay a
sometimes you
pick for it.
overpay.
So.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
All right. So, moving on to Ben's and my matchup. Fucking close.
Yeah. Okay. I'll
It
give
all
you. All
came
right,
down to Brock
Steve.
Bowers.
So you gotta just shit on the Seahawks now. You had your little
Okay,
Packer
yeah.
fest.
Yeah,
You went to
okay.
Lumen.
Yep.
There were way more Packers fans than Seahawks fans there.
No, I mean it was like
Congratulations on your
one in
win. I hope you had a
4.
great time,
We
but
did have
kindly
an
fuck yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it was probably about like 1 in 4 Packers. 1 in 4 people there was a Packers fan.
It's unacceptable.
It
Like
was an
it's
absolute takeover.
I'm so
The
fucking
theme for the
embarrassed.
night was the 40th anniversary of the 12th man retirement, which like really
And
adds
there's just a
insult
shit
to
ton of
injury.
fucking
And
cheese
there's
heads
just
and
cheeseheads everywhere. You could hear "Go Pack Goes" raining
gross.
down the
You could hear
entire.
it on the
You could hear it on
broadcast,
the
dude.
broadcast.
It
Like,
made me so mad.
oh man, it was
I'm
something to
sure you guys
behold.
had a great time. Like I don't blame you at all. I
Fucking
don't blame you
ball.
at all. I'm so fucking mad at my team
I mean,
for
I would be
letting
embarrassed by that. Like,
huh?
it was not good. The Packers absolutely imposed their will on the Seahawks all
Oh
damn
yeah.
night.
It was
On both sides
from
of
the
the ball.
crowd to what was going on the field, it was all
Yeah,
Packers. The
absolutely.
Seahawks
I
just
mean, like,
fucking suck.
you got
It's so
absolutely
embarrassing.
run over by Josh Jacobs in the
Yep.
traditional style of Josh Jacobs running against the Seahawks. I don't know what
You
it
know what's
is about
funny?
Josh Jacobs against the Seahawks, but he just absolutely annihilates you every time
Well,
you see him.
it's because our
And it's
defensive
the
line
running
just can't
style. Yeah,
fucking do
exactly.
anything against him.
Exactly. He
And
get pounded out.
the Packers offensive line is very good.
They handle it.
They
Yeah.
actually get push up front and
They
can
actually
they
do. Yeah.
they
No, they can.
bodied Brian Murphy. They bodied Draymond Jones.
Yep.
They were pushing forward and opening holes. The stuff that the Seahawks need to do on their
On the
side of the
on side
ball,
of the ball.
you
Yeah.
guys are doing.
Right.
So
And then
yeah,
on
it's
the
funny
other
because I
side.
was watching this game with my neighbor who's a Seahawks fan too,
Mm-hmm.
and um basically, so he's less plugged in than I am. Like he doesn't play fantasy and watch every fucking team. He just watches
Right.
the Seahawks and he just likes the team, right? And I was telling him like all I want to see is on this first quarter, I want to see Josh Jacobs get bottled up and hit behind the line of scrimmage like 3 or 4 times, and I want to see a field goal. And what happens on the first drive? Chunk play, 12
Bodied,
yard, 12 yard
bodied,
chunk play.
bodied. Just
Yeah,
ugh.
instant
I mean, it's
touchdown. I'm just like, fuck. And
as soon
also
as
because I'm playing against him in my fantasy matchup against Casey. So I'm like, God
yeah,
fucking
no.
damn it.
As soon as
Yeah. It was
the
wild.
announcement came over the PA that the Packers said that they wanted the ball after winning the toss, I was like, oh, it's gonna be that kind of night. And then like the first series
Yeah.
goes down, like the first 3 plays goes down, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be that kind of night.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it was just an absolute domination from the offensive line, and the defense lived
Seahawks
in your
fans
backfield.
who
And
have season tickets,
yeah,
who sell them as like a side hustle, need to fuck off. And the
dude,
team needs to do something about it because
yeah,
it's
it's
not
bad.
acceptable. It's
It's
not acceptable.
bad. Like,
Lumen Field is like the 12th man is dead. It is a cakewalk for visiting teams at this point.
on
They
like,
enjoy going to Lumen because it's just a million. It's like it's like a home game for them.
yeah,
The Bills, the San Francisco
yeah,
49ers, it doesn't matter. The only time
it's
that we
true.
have an actual home game is when we play against some dog shit team
Yeah, from like the
who
East,
doesn't the people don't want to travel to go watch
play
a
fucking
fucking
Jacksonville
two
or
and
something.
10 yeah, Jacksonville, or like every time the
Cincinnati,
Cardinals play us at home, it's actually like feels like a home game because the Cardinals have no fucking fans.
right?
There's literally like dozens of them.
Yeah,
And you can hear
you can tell
Seahawks chants on
in
uh
Arizona.
Arizona
Yeah,
games
yeah,
where we're
exactly.
playing there.
Yeah,
So like I get it. Bad teams don't get fans to show out for them. But the team isn't doing themselves any favors by allowing season ticket holders to sell their tickets to opposing
no,
fans,
no,
which is
yeah,
very clearly what's going on
it's
here.
absolutely what's happening, and it's like because the cost of tickets has gone up, and the season ticket holders can easily make, the cost of season tickets over again on like 3 games. And the Packers game is always a high, demand game, and from Packers fans because we travel
Oh,
so well.
there's very
So
bad blood between the two
and
teams.
there's
Like,
a lot going on. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I
yeah,
mean,
there's a lot of history. Like, the Packers fans are still upset about the Fail Mary shit. Like,
yes, absolutely.
I'm sure you
Fucking
feel very
refs.
vindicated at this point because you really did a lot of damage to our playoff hopes this week,
Yeah, we
and
we
we came
sure
away with a
did.
ton of injuries. So
Yeah, no, well, at least Geno Smith looks like he's going to be coming back a little bit. He was
oh,
only limited, right? But hey, this is actually another bone I want to pick with Trevor right now while he doesn't have any moment to defend himself. But how
all
about that
right, what
Sam
is it?
Howell, huh? You really want to see him again? You want to see him instead of
It's
Geno?
less about Sam, dude. It was the same again. I'm gonna defend Trevor just because I know where he's coming from. It's less about wanting to see Sam Howell and wanting something other than Geno Smith because he dislikes
Sure.
him that much as a
Yeah,
quarterback.
no, I think
I
that's
think,
fair. But I
I
think
think,
given
I
the
think he would
range of
agree.
potential alternatives, Geno is
I
your
think he
best
would.
bet.
Yeah,
Like
I think
that's
he would
what
agree.
was
Sam
clearly
Howell's fucking
visible.
garbage. Just like when he was out there on his soapbox saying, "I want Drew Lock, I want Drew Lock," and then
Yeah,
we saw Drew Lock, and it was like, "Oh
I guess we'll
God,
take Gino.
I guess we'll take
like,
Geno." It's
like
the
that's
same
the
thing as that.
thing. Yeah, I think we
But yeah,
gotta we
that's
gotta take that moment here and say like,
yeah.
yeah, that game. I think Danny said it like the game was over as soon as Sam Howell came in,
Oh
and
yeah.
like and
And
like that
honestly,
was the moment it ended.
man, I blame Ryan Grubb, our offensive coordinator,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
our backup quarterback, who clearly, based on what they see in practice, have not been confident in him.
right,
And there's not been a lot of good press of it. Like beat reporters who go to the OTAs and watch practice and stuff have made it clear that there's something wrong with him. He looks worse than he did at Washington
right,
here.
right.
And
Yeah,
Ryan
there's
Grubb
something
proceeds to
isn't
call
working.
like 19 passing plays for Sam Howell when we could
When
try
Charbonnet
and
was
use
running
Charbonnet.
pretty well,
No,
honestly,
he
at
was
that
running
point.
very, very poorly. He just had that one, he had like a couple
He had
good
a couple
runs,
good
and
runs,
he
but
had
like
that one
again,
touchdown run. That was it.
Packers in
But
the
to
backfield
his
all
credit,
night.
to his credit,
Like
Ryan Grubb wasn't doing him any favors at the play calling.
no,
So
absolutely. It was the defense knew what was coming the
it's
entire
all,
time.
dude, it's all bad. It
Like,
also, I don't know if you saw it, because obviously you were at the game and weren't watching the broadcast, but you may have seen pictures of it just on social media. Uh, Mike McDonald's face after the Charbonnet touchdown is just a look of utter confusion,
disbelief. Yeah, like how did that
disbelief.
work? Yeah.
No, not how did that work? It's what are you doing? Because he's calling all these pass plays, and then as soon as he switches to a run play, they get a touchdown. And so he's clearly just like, what are we doing
Yeah, no,
offensively?
it's like why are we doing this? Yeah,
Why aren't we
exactly.
running the ball more?
Right,
Look at what we just
look at what
did.
we just did when we ran the ball.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, exactly.
So
And
I thought
yeah,
that
you're
was
getting run
hilarious.
all over. Like, yeah, no, it's I don't know what the hell's going on.
Anyway, that is, I don't
That
want to talk
was
about that game anymore. That game
it
was
was
bullshit for
it
me,
was
but I'm sure you
absolute
had a lot of fun.
beatdown. We had a
It
great
was,
time. No, it was
yeah,
really
those
fun.
those kinds of games are fun to go to.
Yeah,
So
it was a lot of fun, and the Packers only come to Seattle every 6 to 8 years, typically. Outside
that
the
being said,
playoffs.
I am glad that I did not commit to going to that game because I would have been absolutely fucking miserable.
Yeah,
I was miserable
you would have been
watching it
having
at
a bad
home.
time. Yeah, you would have been
Yes.
having a bad time. A lot
I
of
would have been
Seahawks.
okay with a loss if we looked somewhat competent, but we just looked like
It was
ass.
not good. Yeah,
You
it was
it
not
very
good.
clearly looked like a team from a blender of a division with a lot of variance playing a team from the best division in
The
the game.
best division in
So
football. Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
that's what it looked like,
absolutely. It
and it was
sure
bad.
did look like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I would absolutely
That being
agree.
said, your matchup
It,
with
yeah,
Ben
it's been
is in
really
the stat
close.
correction territory,
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
we'll see. At this point, you're probably
I
good.
think it's okay. I mean, it has to be a PD or like a couple of stacked tackles, and I don't think that's likely to happen.
Yeah, it's like me last week with Matt.
But I mean, it could.
Which actually, it's funny if you go look at the stat corrections from last week. I got a PD in my favor,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so
right.
that
I
could have
don't.
easily gone the other way, and I could have also
You
lost
could
like
have lost. Yeah,
something
exactly.
could have been a ruled a half sack, or I could have
Yeah,
lost a half a tackle, and
totally.
then I'd be talking about me
Easily
playing George
something.
or Matt or not Matt, sorry, me playing Josh this week in
Josh
the
this week.
toilet
Yeah,
bowl
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Exactly,
So
exactly. But yeah, no, I do think that we're.
you were right about Rashawn Gary getting a sack, but you were wrong in that he would be feasting. Steve, the
Yeah,
Packers pass rush is fucking garbage, which
yeah,
is
but
also
they did
why I
get
was upset
home six
that
times or something like that. Like it was
that
all
they
Kingsley Enagbari, but which I also did say it was going to be either Rashawn Gary or Kingsley Enagbari. Like
fair enough.
it was going
You
to be
guys,
one of those two, depending on who you decided to double.
Lumea was getting bodied. Charles Cross was getting pushed back
Fucking Kenny Clark was
over and
having a
over
game and
again.
a half, just like
Even
blasting
Abraham
people
Lucas was the
down.
guy that we were talking about,
Yeah,
like
talking
our
it's
like
like the
potential
answer.
good
Yeah,
tackle was just he was garbage. And
getting
then
wrecked.
Olu Atimi, our
This new
backup
center.
center,
Yep.
he got injured, so we're down to our third string center.
Yeah, he
It's
got
just bad.
blasted pretty
We're in such
early
a bad
by Kenny
situation.
Clark, and then it was Edgerrin Cooper, Colby Wooden, like 3 by Kingsley Enagbari and 1 by Rashawn Gary.
Yeah,
Were the
that being
sacks.
said, you played way too many fucking Packers in your
I
playoff
did.
match, Steve. I'm
I
sorry, Quay Walker is not good.
Well, he got hurt in
Edgerrin
the
Cooper
second
is the
corner.
future.
Edgerrin
Okay.
Cooper is the future. That is absolutely true. Quay Walker has been playing a lot better in the last few games, but he just got hurt with like a major
I'm
ankle
sorry.
injury and
Dude is
is
just
now
a
week
fucking
to week.
dingus. This
He is
dude is a
absolutely
dingus.
a dingus. He's absolutely a dingus. I will not disagree with that. Keyshawn Nixon had a pretty good game. He was returning balls left and right. Really, I think they were trying to break one off on you guys, but it almost happened a few times. I absolutely fucked up in my DLs here because I've got like fucking 30 points on my bench here between Kobe Turner.
I have no
and
idea
Will
what
Anderson.
possessed you to take Will Anderson out of your starting lineup when you're playing against the Dolphins' offensive line, who are like one of the worst in
Well,
football.
okay. So
You are
I
mad. You
will
are mad.
explain myself here. I thought Marubike was going to feast against the Giants more so than Will Anderson against Miami.
We
That was
forget that the
my
Giants have a good offensive line.
yeah,
So
right. But
for
they've
that's the
given
only
up
good
some of the
part of the
most
Giants.
sacks. They've given up the most sacks, like second most, third most sacks on the season, though. So like
Well, they're look at their quarterback.
I know. That again, that was part of that was what my
Sacks are a
thinking
quarterback
there.
stat
Yeah, exactly.
for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, well, and
The
luck,
offensive line
but yeah,
facilitates it, but the
I sh-
quarterback is the one that gets
I
sacked.
should have
Okay,
absolutely played Will
you
Anderson,
don't. Yeah, if
and
you aren't playing Will Anderson this week, I'm
oh,
going
I
to
definitely am.
drive to Shelton and
Even
beat your ass because that is so dumb.
even against Kansas City this week, I intend to
Oh,
play
you
Will
absolutely
Anderson.
play Will Anderson against Kansas
Yeah,
City.
because I the
Patrick
fucking
Mahomes is gonna play,
the
and he's
anti
not gonna be able to
Foles
go anywhere because he has a fucking high ankle
high
sprain
ankle
again, and
sprain.
he's
Yeah.
psycho and is gonna try and play through it
Yep.
again.
Yep. And Will Anderson is going to ruin him.
And hopefully, okay, I'm not gonna say it because that's how you take L's in fantasy. But I think you know what I was about to say.
Yeah, I do. And I just, as long as the Chiefs don't make the Super Bowl. Um, yep. And I subbed in Terry Arnold at the last minute. I should have kept Tyreek Stevenson in there. He got a free kick.
Yep,
Dumb.
that game was really
Sucked.
scrappy.
Yeah.
It was not a good watch.
It was
It was
neither of the
probably
Monday night
only a fun
games.
watch for Bears fans and Vikings fans. That's
I
it.
mean,
Everyone else were
I don't
just
think
like,
it was
this is
that
ass.
fun for Monday or for Bears fans.
Oh, for Bears fans, it was fun for about
For
20
the
minutes.
first quarter and a half.
Yeah.
But the only thing that really happened in this matchup on Monday night is Brock Bowers barely got enough.
That's
I needed
because
like
you
4
got
points.
that looks like a Kyle Pitt. Like I was watching that and I was like, yeah, that looks like Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got Desmond Ritter
he
throwing the
got
ball
Pitts.
to a talented tight end
Yep,
and nothing's
and
happening.
nothing's
Cool.
happening. Yeah, but he got 7 points, which is
Because of
something.
our scoring format.
Yep,
Congratulations.
yep, exactly. It's just enough.
That is very mid. 7
It's
points.
extremely
That's
mid.
literally that's like the Kyle Pitts line.
I mean, at least I did not play. Or no, I did. I played all the tight ends.
Yeah,
I did do the.
you've been doing your exotic
I
maneuver
did
for a
my
while here.
exotic maneuver here, and it burned me this week. But I still snuck out of the win, despite taking this 40 slam from Devontae to the face. Well,
Okay,
maybe that correction.
that was ridiculous.
This was insane. This game, like, just look at that scoring line. 200, like just shy of 200 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 2-point conversion. Like, holy
Also,
shit.
yeah, so I think like 148 yards came in the fourth quarter, which was an NFL
Yeah.
record.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like
Something like that.
Devonte Adams just exploded
It just went sicko mode at the last minute.
on like a very exhausted Jacksonville defense that was not used to running those routes and just was like, ha ha ha, fuck you, and just went bananas. But yeah,
That game also sucked.
that game also completely sucked.
It
I
was
can't believe
really dumb.
I
It
can't
was such a
believe
dumb
Brees Hall
game.
got the one touchdown at like on the last play,
Very last
basically.
play.
Yeah, the
Yep.
last play. I'm like, that's it. I would not have won without Brian Thomas.
Yeah, Brian Thomas.
Brian Thomas and Lamar Jackson saved my season. Right
Yeah, they
here.
did.
We can jabber about how Brock Bowers got just enough points to push me over, but it was Brian Thomas that did me good here. And yeah, Lamar going off for 40.
Really, I feel like what
Rip
sunk
Ben's running
uh,
backs.
what I feel like sunk Ben was losing David Montgomery. Obviously, that is
Huge.
really huge. And then the
Yeah.
other thing is Najee Harris disappointing against a very good defense was
Well,
kind of like
yes.
it was
Neither Saquon
something.
nor Najee really showed out. but Najee
Yeah,
especially. Like Saquon had the Saquon floor game, 10 points.
I
Najee had the
feel like
Najee floor game, 3 points.
I feel
Like
like Ben
Ertz
didn't want to
also
do the
went out.
homer thing and play like Wicks or Watson in a
Yeah.
game where he was gonna go watch it live
Yes. That was
because
definitely
he was thinking like, okay, I want to be safe here and play Najee, who's like the starting
yeah,
running back for a good offense.
right.
Even though it's a bad matchup, I'm gonna hopefully get some upside here. But really, the right thing to do was to just like throw in Christian Watson because you expect Seattle's DBs to just suck.
To give up. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I
Edgerrin
mean,
Cooper just went
this went
ballistic.
bananas as soon as Quay Walker went out. I mean, Ben's Ben's beaten himself up about, these Highsmith and Robinson misses, but like I don't think that it was necessarily wrong process to be playing Byron Young or Leonard Floyd. That game was just cheeks. Like nothing excited there. Um but yeah, I don't know.
I feel like Highsmith is kind of a miss.
Yeah, you could I think but Philly, right? Like you don't expect Jalen Hurts to get sacked that often. CJ Stroud, on the other hand, maybe
Alex
Robinson's
Highsmith
the
has
miss.
also been he's been injured most of the
Right,
season.
right.
So I can understand
And
that kind of being the difference maker between playing him or Leonard Floyd,
right,
who's been healthy all season and has been pretty good.
right. Exactly. And I
So
don't
I
I
get
don't
it.
think there's anything wrong with the process here. It just the variance didn't work out for Ben.
Also,
Like
that Rams Niners game was awful.
just the worst.
That
Just the
was
worst.
easily the worst game of the week.
And also Zach Ertz going out in like the second quarter did not help either with a
Yeah,
concussion.
lost Zach Ertz. Yep.
Yeah, like right away. Like injuries and like bad games
Yeah,
are what
really bad
sunk
break for
Ben.
Ben. He was really
Yeah.
on the upswing there. He had
Yeah.
a shot.
Well, I mean, yeah, like very
And
clearly
honestly, on
had a
paper, a
great
better
game.
matchup against Danny's team. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, like, yeah, Ben had a lot more potential to boom. It's not like I haven't boomed a couple times during the season, but I'm gonna need it next week to beat Danny, which means I'm the last line of defense for Trevor's championship host. You know?
Yeah, we'll talk about next week, but yeah,
But yeah,
we'll
yeah,
we'll
exactly.
go, let's get through
We
the
got to go
toilet
do
bowl
the
and then we
toilet
can
bowl.
talk about next week and what's
Yes.
gonna happen here because I think we know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So toilet bowl.
let's do Matt. Let's do Matt and Josh just because I was like,
Oh, Matt and Jordan.
sorry, yeah, Matt and Jordan. Jordan,
Man.
like I said in our chat, Jordan's team was waiting for this moment. He was like, "Oh, I can get first overall pick. All I need to do is suck, and then go off
Yeah.
at the right moment." Well,
Yeah.
he did it.
I mean, I wonder, like this. Holy shit. I might. It's remarkable. It's really remarkable. Like, suck for all the way up to this moment and then, like, go off. Goff, speaking of going off, fucking
He went
50
Goff.
point game. Like, holy
Dude,
shit.
Buffalo is just so like
Oh my God.
I'm worried about Buffalo and the Lions in the playoffs
I mean,
because
that.
you can't win a Super Bowl with a defense like this for
No, you
either of
can't.
those
You
teams.
can't. They're not. It's gonna be bad.
You can't just like win these like
Boat races.
okay,
Yeah.
as a fantasy football enjoyer, those games are the best. These 100-point like battles back and forth are
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Right.
But
90 points were
for
scored in
real
just football
football, it's
games.
just it is messy.
It's bad.
My God. Also, it was definitely snowing. For all the people who like snow games, you don't get to complain about
No.
like
A 90
domes
point. Yeah.
because you don't get games like this if you don't have a
Uh,
dome in
I
Chicago.
mean, well, no, in Detroit.
Or yeah, Detroit. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
You don't, because it was like a foot of snow outside.
Yeah. Well, I
Meanwhile,
mean,
they're playing in their hermetically sealed dome, just putting up touchdown after
Chilling.
touchdown after
No
touchdown
problem.
after touchdown
Yeah,
after touchdown after
playing
touchdown after
easy
touchdown.
football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting game though. That was probably the
I mean,
best game of the week for
here's
sure.
the stack.
Amon-Ra St. Brown finally did something.
JSN
Like,
is maybe the only bright spot for the Seahawks in that game.
yep. But there wasn't a lot of them. But yep.
No, I mean, you say probably the only one.
DK, I'm wondering at this point if he's kind of like the Addison, like he's just benefiting from the wide receiver one just taking away all the coverage.
Yeah, I mean,
Because DK is blanketed
all the time. Yeah,
like
that's
defensive
very fair.
coordinators make a point to just put people like hanging
Keep
off of the
people
dude. It's
on
like
DK.
every catch he does
Here's
get
what-
too is just looks like this massive effort where
Here's
he's just
what
got
was-
people draping off of him every play.
Here's what was fucked up too. So DK only made one catch in the Packers game, right? And he was getting I was watching because he was getting covered by linebackers and safeties all fucking night. They had him in
It's
man
like that every
coverage,
game.
and
He plays a different game
It's
than
like,
other players.
dude, but he should be able to beat a linebacker or a safety in coverage. Like,
He does on
about
like
the elite.
that's basically
corners,
every
but,
catch he gets is when he beats him.
Yeah, I know, but like,
The problem with DK though, it really isn't that he gets blanketed, it's that his ability to catch has regressed. Like he's had so many drops this season. It's been brutal to watch.
Yeah,
but
pretty high up.
Jason is absolutely
Jason has been thriving absolutely for sure.
And I think a lot of it has to do with what DK is doing at the other side.
Right.
Nick Benito also has been on a just absolutely disgusting tear, and he's absolutely not getting another touchdown this week. So sorry, Josh.
Yeah,
I think Kelsey will have you. Kelsey will be a tough beat because she's the first overall queen. So
yeah, no, I mean she's likely to get it 2 years in a row. I mean,
yep,
that's at least what it looks like right now. So, but yeah, I
but
mean,
who knows? Josh,
we will
Jordan
see.
could just go absolutely crazy again. But
Yeah.
Matt, dude,
Matt,
I'm happy you got a bunch of picks from Steve just now because
it's been a
you're
rough
gonna
year.
need them.
It's been
rough
year.
You got a lot of things that went wrong. Like Quentin Johnson just kind of not it. Jameson Williams train left the station, and you're still standing on the platform.
I mean, Sam
Jalen Waddle
is good.
Is just
he's coming back.
So the thing with
Waddle got hurt,
with Miami.
Right?
No, well, yeah, he did get hurt, but also he look at his stats. He looks like Gabe Davis. He looks like Raiders and Cowboys Amari Cooper. Like just look at the output.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Also look at the boom game towards the end of the season. Like he tricked everyone. So he's he drops like bad game. Like look at the bad games for like a month of garbage. Well, not garbage, but just like meh.
Lore.
And then everyone benches him.
I mean, it's like 2 months, right? It's
damn near the entire season. And then he plays New England and goes crazy.
Yeah,
144 yards on 9 targets and a touchdown. And then plays pretty good, and you're like, oh, I can trust him again.
Yeah, plays pretty good.
And then week 15, the time, and then the day you need him the most, gets hurt,
just is nowhere. Yeah, yikes.
Yep. So Jalen Waddle is also kind of a product of the awful Dolphins offensive line.
Right.
Tua, aside from the last 2 weeks, is actually very good at avoiding sacks.
Right, he gets the ball out really quick. He's got a short time.
He's actually
throw the ball away really well. Like I think he's the best in the league at avoiding sacks.
His release is 2.1 seconds in the pocket, which is
that's
the
fast
best
as hell.
The best for a starter, or not the best, I should say. It is the fastest for a starter.
Yeah.
The next highest is Baker Mayfield.
Right.
So short game is the key, and this is why Devon Achane and Jonnu Smith have been thriving, and why Tyreek Hill has been so disappointing. Is because Tyreek Hill is fast.
Develop a route.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill is fast, but he's not running 30, 40 yards to get open every single play in 2.1 seconds. You know?
Right.
So really what's going on here is not that Jonnu Smith and Devon Achane are just like taking a step forward. Obviously, Devon Achane's pretty talented. I
Achane's
really
good,
think
sure.
I really think the narrative around Jonas Smith is way overblown. I don't think he's suddenly this like elite tight end. I think he's really just he's a byproduct of the fact that the Dolphins' offensive line is horrible. They cannot run the ball at all.
Right. Right.
And they cannot let routes develop. So constantly too is going
Yeah.
to his safety valve, and
Right.
we saw it when
I mean,
he was
his
on IR.
check
We
downs.
faded the entire Dolphins offense because you put a backup quarterback behind that line and they have no idea what the hell they're doing.
Right.
Tua cannot create with his legs because he doesn't have elite speed, but he makes up for it with his elite processing and accuracy, which is what his traits are. That's
Right.
why he's been
Right.
paid the way that he's been paid, is because he is above average in his ability to read defenses, process where the ball needs to go, and get it out. And he gets it where it needs to be every single time.
He's AAPI Kirk Cousins.
So, yeah, I think you'll be okay, Matt. Jalen Waddle will be fine next year. I strongly believe that offensive linemen will be coming to Miami, and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and the run game will be better next year. It's just you can't fix something that broken
Offensive lines are hard
fundamentally
to do in season.
in season, correct?
Yeah.
So this draft is going to be huge for them. It's going to be huge for a lot of teams like the Patriots, Seattle, the Miami. Who else has a horrible offensive line?
Jets.
The Jets.
Raiders.
Yeah, all these teams need help there. So we need more offensive linemen in the league.
Jaguars. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know
true.
if the Jaguars' offensive line is necessarily the issue or if it's just like coaching and scheme. It's really hard to tell.
It seems like there's a
The
little
team
bit of
top to
both.
bottom is just discombobulated and mess.
Yeah.
It's just a mess.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Jags just suck.
Yep.
So yeah, that's really all I gotta say about this matchup, really, unless
I
you
don't
had
think
something
there's
else.
anything else that I have to put in here either, other than ha ha ha, Kobe Bryant. That's all.
All right, Jon and Kelsey. The Vulture had a pretty good
He had a
game.
good game. Kelsey
he
just
got
bloomed.
he got AJ Brown involved, so the drama is squashed. We're good
for a week.
They're friends again. Yeah, they're friends again
for a week.
Anthony Richardson still
weird,
super inaccurate.
Yeah.
The Sean Payton defenses are very mean to rookies. So
yeah, that's
and
true.
I still consider Anthony Richardson a rookie. Last season was not a season.
Not really.
He had like
count.
what, 4 games?
Yeah, 4 or 5 starts. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's slowly gotten better this year, but
I need to see the accuracy improve. Like we need to see like a Josh Allen type just increase in ability to throw the ball where it needs to go, because he's so bad at like he can throw it far. He just cannot place it at all. Like we need like Anthony Richardson with Bryce Young's processing and anticipation.
Yeah,
that's what we need.
Right.
He would be like a Hall of Famer if we could just like
instant
merge Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young together.
That's true.
It would be great.
Would be really good. But yeah, I mean, fucking James Conner going off for 30.
Rico Dowdle, my ex, dude.
Yeah.
He's going off.
Your running back envy right now is.
I would be in a much better place right now if I still had him. I said it last week, but
yeah, exactly.
I did not think about that.
You were not expecting to be
I don't know.
Right?
I'll take my pick. I still like the trade for both of us. So
I mean, it's gonna be a high pick, right?
Yep. It worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
Charbonnet. We talked about Charbonnet earlier. Lab McConkey is still really good.
Right. Scary Terry had a great game.
Oh yeah, the
2 touchdowns.
New Orleans Saints are just
the cheeks. I'm excited for the Packers to play them this week. It's going to be
surprisingly
a nice, easy cruise.
Surprisingly, Cade Otton.
Right. So I actually want to talk about this because it relates to the emergence of Jalen McMillan, who has absolutely like
Finally
seemingly
been doing
made a
something
leap
after an entire
here.
season of
Right. Well, like
nothing.
he had only gotten 7 targets one time previously on the season and only made 4 of those catches. But here, I mean, at least he's got 2 touchdowns and posting that same stat line for targets.
Yeah.
And got another one here. And these is the that's exactly like that's the K Dotton, like what his bread and butter had been
Well,
through these
it's
weeks.
like I was saying earlier.
It's the same kind of
So
look, except he had been getting the touchdowns, and then
right, so Tua
last couple
has the
games not so
fastest
much.
time to or lowest time in the pocket, and Baker
Mm-hmm.
Mayfield has the second fastest. So it's kind of surprising that Kate Otten isn't more of a benefactor of that.
Well, it's because you also have Rashad White and Bucky Irving, who both have hands,
Right, but
and
at the
they're
same
those two
time,
are also showing up a lot in there, and Mike Evans too. Like there's just a lot of people on the passing chart, even in the
I
check
don't
down
know.
space.
I feel like game script was kind of part of it too. I mean, he's
Yeah,
been kind of banged up. If I remember the last couple of weeks, he's been on and off the injury report,
yeah,
and
right. He's been limited with I
so
feel
they're
like it was
probably
an
saving
ankle
him because
injury.
that
Yeah,
division is absolutely still up for grabs. Like they are
totally
also leading it because the Falcons have just absolutely collapsed because Kirk Cousins has been
sucked. Yeah,
just dreadful
bad,
for the
really
last
bad.
month.
Yeah.
So Kirktober has been over for a minute,
Yep.
and yeah, the Saints are garbage, and the Carolina Panthers are still figuring it out. So,
Yeah.
yep, that division is
Absolutely.
within reach. So I can understand them kind of prioritizing other guys
Yeah, and
because
especially
they need
getting
Kate Otten. Kate Otten's important to them. So,
well, and like
um,
also especially to get the rookie involved too, right? I
yeah,
mean, you want to see those guys get some meaningful snaps during the regular season so that they can be contributors in the playoffs.
yeah, and not that it really matters. But John, I'm gonna call you out. Look at snap percentages before you start people. Tyrell Dodson has been benched. Like, please look at this stuff before you start players. You have better players on your bench.
Oh my
He
God.
played 6 snaps last week. Okay,
Yeah, no,
he
that's
didn't
the
play this week. He clearly was trending in the wrong direction. He also got cut from the Seahawks. He just sucks. Drop him. All right,
yeah,
I'll get off
this
my soapbox.
yeah, I mean, but yeah, seriously,
You
pay
could just you
attention to
could
when
have
you're
played
I
people.
mean,
You could have played people from your bench. You could have swapped in a linebacker from your IDP. Uh, like he's your IDP flex. You could have played anybody.
oh my God. Wow.
Like
Wow.
not to say this
Yeah, I
is
mean,
right
that's a call
process,
out.
wrong result in my opinion. But like Reed Blankenship, why is he not in your flex? Even though
Yeah.
Quentin Lake and Brandon Jones got the interception,
I
and
mean,
he's actually been awesome. You should be starting him all season, all playoffs. Brandon Jones
like
is like
yeah.
one of the best safeties in the league right
Yeah,
now.
no, Brandon Jones absolutely should be right there. Like
Yeah,
he's been
Tyrell
playing
Dodson
great.
is garbage. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
get him
I
out of
hated
here.
watching him on the Seahawks.
And it's
Like
not like there aren't good
he can't
like
tackle. He just can't tackle.
go
It's so
pick up
frustrating.
Fahugo gods off the or Toto
Henry
off
Tutu.
yeah, like off the waiver wire. He's there, he'll get you like 6 or 7 points instead of a
Yeah.
fucking zero.
Yeah,
Holy
that's
moly.
my that I needed to admonish John. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, John. I'm not trying to be mean, but I
that's
just wanted
a
to point out
important
that
soapbox moment.
I'm just
For
curious
sure.
I'd be interested to know what John's thought process was starting Tyrell Dodson. If he was just like not paying attention or if he uh thought it was a good play and he was just looking at projections. Because I think
Right.
Tyrell Dodson was like projected to get like 8
Projected at
points,
8
even though
7.58,
the week
you know.
before he was benched
Benched and yeah, exactly. Like
and
sleeper does not
his snaps have been going down
once
over as the
more
season went
for
on.
everyone, sleepers, IDP projections are garbage. They update them maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Unlike, the
No,
offensive ones which
okay.
change like
That's actually not true. They actually have been doing better, but you are correct. They are garbage. If you go look at the waiver wire right now, I think the top DB right now is like slated to get 11 points, and this guy is like playing 30% of snaps all season. Yeah. Who is first of all, really?
really?
Why is this guy
What happened here too?
projected
Like
to get 11 points this week?
he got
Look at his
one
snap
sack
counts.
once.
His snap counts have been all over the place.
Yeah, no,
I just
yeah.
don't get it. There's so many other players that are actual starters that play 90+% of snaps every week that you could get off the waiver wire right now that are projected to get way
Yeah, they get
less.
13, 14 snaps. 30
He's
seconds.
not
Yeah,
even
like
getting any tackles, but this guy's scheduled to get
no,
11 points.
that's
I don't get this.
crazy.
I don't understand their projections.
That's
Doesn't make any
bullshit.
sense.
Yeah, that's absolutely bullshit here.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
I don't. Do you have
yeah.
anything else to say other than that Kelsey really boomed here? And
Well, hopefully she can get that first overall. That's all
yeah,
I'm
the
saying
first
for her
overall coming
because
again
I think
for
it's
you,
going to be
Kelsey.
hard because Jordan is going to be fighting tooth and nail because he was clearly very frustrated this entire season. I'm sure
Well,
he's like
and
feeling
he's
some
gonna.
kind of vindication at
He
this
really
point.
needs Gianti to replace McCaffrey.
Yeah, he does.
You know,
I
like
think anybody
if any
anybody
like
wants
if
that.
there's any team that like really needs Gianti like as the number one overall, like that is I think
It's like
the
me,
one.
it's me and then him probably who are the most running back needy at this point.
Yeah, at this point, I would have put myself on that list before about 10 a.m. this morning or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
yeah,
All right.
cool. Well,
So,
let's look into next week real quick
yep.
because we have actually everything going. This will be easier to go from by this.
Okay, so I am fucked. I am
Yeah, so
this
you're
this is why
can't do it
I
this way.
am
It's stupid.
I just don't I haven't liked okay, I don't want to like sit up here
We don't
and
need
be
to.
like, "Oh my god, how am I winning?" Like I'm happy that I've had success, but I got to be honest.
It's
My team is put together in a way that I just hate. I've been trying so hard to get my team into a state where I feel like I can compete and I feel like I'm failing upwards. It's why I keep telling you that my team is a fraud.
yep.
You look at
No, I
my
understand
bench. My
completely where you're
bench is
coming
an
from.
absolute mess. I
No,
have so many backup running backs on it. It's insane. I literally the last 3 weeks I've been
I am
playing
your
running backs off the waiver wire
I am your wide
and
receiver
it's so
counterpart,
scary.
and like
It
yeah,
is so
also
scary.
running backs off the waiver wire because of like injury concerns. Like I'm of all the people, I get it. Like I did not expect to find myself here, but here we are. Like again,
Yeah.
happy for the success. I'm like,
Well,
uh,
you've actually, you caught a an updraft because you got, a startable quarterback,
right,
you got a QB1 in the draft, you got a
all
wide receiver 1 in the draft, you got the top tight end in
a
the
tight end,
draft,
it's
like
top
the
tight
top
end,
tight end in fantasy in the draft.
and an
You have
RB
multiple
one
running backs that you got in the
in the
draft
draft.
that are startable.
Yeah. No,
I'm sitting over here. I'm waiting to actually have a starter from our
I mean,
drafts.
yeah,
I'm
like
just like I'm getting really unlucky with the draft picks
uh,
and it's affected me this season to the point where I'm
yeah,
literally just like Jesus take the wheel against Trevor, who is far and away the strongest team in the league.
yeah, no,
I am
easily.
fully expecting to get absolutely
Just
drubbed.
totally
Like
walloped. I mean,
250 points to me putting up like my usual 160 so or so.
yeah,
I'm fully
yeah,
expecting that.
yeah, absolutely.
If I win this week, it is because Trevor fell apart. And
Yeah,
it is
it'd
the
be a complete.
Luigi wins by doing absolutely nothing meme. And Trevor should feel bad
Yeah,
if he beats
if he,
himself this week
I mean,
because
look though, it's
This is
clearly
Trevor's
possible. Like
nope, this is
159
Trevor's game
points.
to lose.
Like
There's just by projections alone.
look at last
Like
week's
this is
score. Like either Ben or I or you would have beat him
I
last
don't think
week.
that happens. Like
I
what
don't think
happened to
that
Trevor
happens
last week
often, but like
is the outlier.
yeah,
Okay.
no, I mean, looking at his scores, absolutely they're the
He
outlier,
puts
but
up 200 a week every week. It's
pretty much
Danny
every
and
week.
you, which
Yeah.
we'll talk about in a minute, that I'm I think is a far more interesting match.
Yeah.
Because for me, I might play, Bust Edwards this week, depending on if Kenneth Walker can play. Because like I
Yeah.
can't play Jalen Wright because what I was talking about earlier with
Right.
the running back situation in the
Yeah.
offensive line in Miami, who was like
Right.
my running back I drafted to be my starter. I traded away all my good running backs
Yeah.
because
Yeah, you kind
the
of went
reason
for a
is
zero.
the reason is because the way my team's constructed and the way things broke out, I have Justin Jefferson and Drake London, who are my best players.
Right.
And Drake London is like a fringe wide receiver 1. I don't have like a stud quarterback. I have some good quarterbacks, but I don't have a stud. So I just kind of like squeak by every week on
Sam Darnold.
on the
Right.
upside of maybe 30 points a week from them. I don't have
Sure.
a Josh Allen or, a player that can get me 50.
A
They
Lamar
don't have that
Jackson.
kind of ceiling. So I have like a middling quarterback room. I have like my best running back is a RB2 by ranking. Like I have the 25th best running back in Brian Robinson. Kenneth Walker has been nothing all season.
Yeah, he's completely
And there's
disappeared.
been a lot of reasons for that. It's been injury and also just the Seahawks are fucking trash.
Really,
And
can't run at all.
and I traded, like I said, I traded away my running backs because I saw the rest of my team wasn't constructed well. And really, I've just had like an okay defense. So like, I really feel like I am the true underdog at this point in our playoffs, and I'm playing
Yeah.
the 1 seed.
I
So
mean,
like I said, I fully expect to
you
get
and me
bounced this
both,
week.
but
I had a great
like,
run. I'm looking forward to just getting my money back.
yeah, exactly. That's when I saw where I was like, sweet, break it even.
Yep,
That's more
Steven,
than I was expecting.
I'll see you next week in the like third place
Yeah, the
match,
third.
okay?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something like that. I mean, that tracks like for us. Like, but yeah, I mean, seriously, I do think that now that I have JT, I have a little bit more of a chance.
Yeah, you do.
We'll
That's a
see.
huge
We'll
boon for
see.
you for sure.
It's a huge boost for me. But I have to make. I'm making some big swings with terms of my start sit decisions this week. So hopefully it pays off
And we know how
maybe I
Danny's
can
team
beat
is,
Danny.
very
So
boom bust.
boom bust,
So
exactly.
lately he's been nothing but boom. So
Right.
we'll see if he can carry that over.
We'll find
He's
out.
got some really good players going
If
for him despite all the injuries. So
if both you and I lose and the projected outcome comes out, I think Trevor's gonna be fucking shaking in his boots.
oh, like I
It'd be
said, Danny's my dark horse.
yeah,
Danny is my
exactly.
dark horse.
Danny
And
and Trevor in the
Danny's
playoffs.
yet to lose to Trevor. So that would
Yeah.
honestly, like,
I think that would
obviously
be a
I would
fun
like to be
playoff. I would love
I
to
would
be in
like
the
to be
playoffs.
in
I hope I see you
yeah.
there in the championship.
Yeah, same.
But
But I'm okay with any result from I'm super stoked for the championship no matter
yeah,
who
it'll be
wins cuz
fun.
like obviously I might be in it. I'm invested in that clearly.
Yeah.
Like you're invested in you going.
Yep.
I think your story and just like going from the worst team in the league bar none to
The full
potentially winning it
rebuild,
all is
full
pretty
teardown,
cool.
full rebuild, and yeah, like
But let's be
being in the
honest here.
top four. Yeah,
The most likely matchup here is going to
is
be
Trevor and Danny.
Trevor
Yeah,
and Danny, and
yeah.
that will be absolute gas.
It will be really fun. There will be some serious tilt.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be excellent. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how this all sorts out, and yeah, it'll be an interesting week. That's for sure. Are there any particular games that you're interested in watching?
I'm curious to see what happens in Tennessee because they did just bench Will
Will
Levis
Levis,
because he
yeah,
had like I commented on it. He had the all-time bad game. I
yeah,
think the worst quarterback performance. It's
of
super
all
hard to
time.
get
Yeah,
negative points in our format because of the passing first down scoring, and he
right.
got negative like 2.5,
Yeah,
which is
it's so
atrocious.
difficult to do that. Like it's really
Um,
bad. Um,
I think probably. Let's see here. Let's just look at the slate. Where can you look at the actual like
oh, here I can pull it up because
the
it's
NFL
on
matchups? Oh, here we go.
scores.
It's under scores.
Yeah,
Okay, so the Thursday night football is going to be the most boring shit ever. It's going to be
yeah.
well, it's
Denver
going to be
versus LA. It'll be good
good defense,
defense.
bad
Yeah,
offense.
right.
That's what's going to
Exactly.
happen,
That's
which
what
is
you
like the worst kind of football.
basically don't start any Bronco or Charger if you're
Unless you're me,
expecting an
because I'm going to
offensive
go
skill
get
position.
Bus Edwards off the waiver wire probably.
Yeah, I mean, good luck. You have to make that claim tonight.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so I mean, you gotta get on the bust. Get
Yep.
on the bus. If you do that, I will make you a kill face meme for the
I might have to. Like I'm
you know
looking at the practice reports and both
yeah,
Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker didn't
not
practice
looking
today,
good.
so that's
Well, I
and I
would
don't have any running backs.
yeah,
So
yeah.
even
Well,
though I have like 9,
yeah,
I can't start any of them.
I'll trade you Ty Chandler for a fifth.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
I dropped him to pick up Cam Akers because
Yeah,
Cam
but
Akers was traded back to the Vikings
back to the
for the same
Vikings.
package
Yeah.
he got traded to last year,
Yep.
and
Yep.
then usurped Ty Chandler on the depth chart.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yep.
Anyway, fucking Ty Chandler.
No, I think the most
Um,
interesting game coming up this
Pittsburgh
week,
and Baltimore is going to be it'll probably be bad for fantasy,
bad for fantasy
but
potentially, but it'll be a
super bad
fun
blood between
football.
those teams.
Fun
Divisional
football.
matchup. It's going to be
Yeah.
really good. Yeah.
I kind of think the Houston KC
Obviously,
game
I want to see Penix, so I'm
hugely
really
impactful.
excited for
Yeah, the Giants
Penix to
Falcons.
play against the shitty Giants
Mm-hmm.
in a dome. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
This is not going to look
Cardinals.
good. I'm
Oh no,
sorry
the
for the Seahawks.
Minnesota's going to boat race us, and it's probably going to be like 30, probably like 33, 34 to 13.
So yeah, just
It's
about
going to
one
be.
field
I'm
goal
not
more,
optimistic at
about one
all. I'm
field
not
goal worse than
optimistic
the
at
Packers
all.
game. Yeah, that tracks. Yeah, no, I think it's not going to look good for the
I'm
Seahawks
just
this
I'm so
weekend.
pissed off at the Seahawks. They make me mad.
But then
They just suck.
the rest of the
I need them
division,
to
right? Like
I need them to do
Arizona,
something.
yeah, they need to do something. I mean, they need to do something if they want to keep their season. Like San
Yeah,
Francisco could lose
exactly.
to Miami pretty easily. LA is playing the Jets, which is going to be a fucking slugfest. But
Oh, also,
uh,
San Francisco, Miami. That game's going to be horrible for
this is going
fantasy
to be
too. I'm sure.
awful. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
going to be really bad.
Also, all these teams I've said that there's going to be horrible games. I have starters in them all. So
Yeah, yeah.
this is your game. This is your week to win, Trevor. I'm just saying.
Yeah. This will. I think Monday night will be fun though. We can all watch the Saints get pretty well
Oh yeah,
shellacked.
that'll not be a good game, Steve. That game is going to be absolutely garbage.
It's going to be really bad.
You're only say it's exciting because it's Green Bay.
No, what's going
The
to be
Saints are
fun?
not a fun watch.
They're not a fun watch, and they're going to be
They're
coming to
awful.
Lambeau in the middle of the night in December. It's going to be another team from the South in a dome coming up to the frosty ass North and getting run.
The only way that game is any good is if there's snow.
I hope there will be.
And it'll probably just be ice, which is like the worst.
Which is bad.
You don't
bad news.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
I don't know. I don't know. I hate the slate this week. All these games just kind of look bad.
Nothing looks
A lot
great
of
here.
lot of weird, funky divisional matches, and then you have like randomly the Rams playing the Jets. Like, who fucking cares?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. At least that's a 10 a.m. game.
It's all the divisional matches that make me worried about this week, is because divisional games are just weird
Always weird.
all the time.
Philly versus Washington.
Like, how many are here? Okay, one. So Denver.
Yeah, we have a bunch. It's the beginning
Denver
of
Chargers
division hell.
one.
One.
Pittsburgh Baltimore two.
Two. This here's a third.
Detroit
Chicago.
Chicago three.
With Cleveland and Cincy. Tennessee and Indiana is one.
So 5, 6.
Philly Washington is
7.
That's 7 with New England and Buffalo. And that's it. So 7 division games this week. That's more than
No, Philly and Washington are not in the same division.
Yes, they are. They're both NFC East.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. No, you're right. Yeah, it's like more than half the slate.
It's about
division
matchups.
matchups.
It's about half the slate, right? Because there's 16 games. Without
Good
buys.
Lord. Yeah, this is gonna be a bad week for fans. I'm projecting a bunch of low scoring games this week just because of how many divisional matchups there are. That's my prediction.
I think you're probably right, and it's gonna be.
I don't think we see a 200-point game this week. If it is, it's from Trevor's team just because he has like all the running backs.
The thing that could counteract that is we could see like some really big defensive performances.
That is true
in these division games. Like you start defenses in division games.
IDP has been pretty dry the last month or so, though. A lot of the IDP studs have been pretty muted.
Yeah,
like Max Crosby he's gone now, but like
hurt.
Nick Bosa hasn't done anything. TJ Watt's been okay.
Nick Bosa's
Miles Garrett has been really on and off. Like it's been it's been weird.
The IDP studs are all on teams that are not really contending.
Yeah, it's like there's just kind of second tier players that are like good that we've all got rostered that are like your Nick Bonitos are just like going crazy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. The kind of guys that like next year
are going to be
might be dropping and swapping out for the guys that are producing,
exactly, because they're getting avoided next year as opposed to,
which is weird. I mean, that's how it goes.
IDP is weird. It always is going to wind up that way, but yeah.
Well,
kill this.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so. Well, as always, the defense wins championships.
And Steve sucks.
And fuck you, Targus.
Well, actually, no, Steve. I will say this week you don't suck because you made an app. Made a good trade.
Yeah, I made a good
And
trade.
you're in the running for a fantasy
Yeah,
championship.
no, I'm
so
exactly like
you don't suck. Go
I've
figure.
well,
Yeah, I mean you
maybe
suck, but
for this
you don't
week
suck.
I have
You
maybe
don't suck
cast
that
off
much
the mantle of suck partially,
for a
at
week.
least. Yeah, for a week.
But then when I fight you next week,
yeah,
we
we're
have a
in the
epic hobo fight.
championship, right? Epic hobo fight championship.
Yeah, sure. The
Yeah, that's where it's gonna be. It's
championship.
gonna be. Hey, if you don't believe
Sure.
it, then it will never happen.
Well, you would feel differently if you had my roster, but yeah, sure.
I did until this morning, basically, except I have no wide
No,
receivers.
no, no, no,
Well,
no,
yeah,
no.
no,
You
that's
can't say
fair.
that. If
No.
Kyle Pitts was doing Brock Bowers things, I would agree. But he's been
Fair.
like
No, that's
a
fair.
linchpin in my plan that has not worked out and has been part of my issue. So
Right.
fucking Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. Doing Kyle Pitts
All right.
stuff.
Well, those of you who are in the toilet bowl, good luck. I hope
Yeah,
you get what you were
definitely.
looking for. I hope you
Good
get
luck
your
hope you get
Christmas.
your high picks. Yeah.
Your Christmas wish comes true.
Exactly.
And yeah.
Have a good one.
We'll see you next week.
Yep. Good luck in those playoffs.
Later.
Peace.